Hello, I'm Justin Hancock from BishTraining.com. I'm a sex and relationships educator and trainer, and this is a video guide to how to facilitate a lesson about relationships. This one's called Why Do People Have Romantic Relationships? If you are a young person or a person wanting some sex education, you might want to go to my other site for my other videos, which is bishuk.com. This one is just for practitioners. Okay. This is the first of my video guides to show you some of the activities that I use when I'm working with young people and also practitioners in classrooms or training rooms. And this is from my resource pack, Love in It, and all the instructions on how to do this are in that pack, which is available to buy from bishtraining.com. So this activity is really about trying to get people to be critical about why it is that people have romantic relationships and what it is that people want, and it's quite a straightforward sounding activity, but it can be quite in depth, as I'll show you. So the first thing that you need to do is to put the group into small groups of around 4 or 5 in a group, and they each need to have a piece of paper and a pen, and give them around 5 to 10 minutes to write down all of the reasons why people have romantic relationships. Now, note the wording of what I just said. Why do people have romantic relationships? Not why do you have them, why people have them. Okay, that's important. And it's also important to remind them that there are no wrong answers. There are no right answers either, actually. All we need here are answers. Okay, so make that very clear to them that you're not going to criticize anything that they say. You just need lots of answers, and that's the whole point of the activity. So give them 5 to 10 minutes, and then when they've finished, go around each group and get each group to feedback one at a time. And their role is to just shout an answer out really clearly, and your role is just to write it up. You don't ask questions like, well, that's interesting, why have you said that, or would you like to say a bit more about that, or what do you mean by that? You just literally write down what they say. It's a charting exercise. And you'll get many more. I mean, if you do that, if you could fill this piece of paper and get 25, 30 different things. But the key question here is, which one of these can only be achieved by being in a romantic relationship? Okay, and it kind of depends what your groups come up with, but usually the answer is none, because all of these things you can get from somewhere else. So that can lead to a big discussion, and often the group will just kind of take it and run with it. But there are some additional discussion questions that you can ask the group. So for instance, where else can we get these things? So allow participants to come up with this list for themselves, but it could be like friends, family, religion, humankind. They can get them for themselves. That's really important. Or non-romantic sexual relationships, or being a parent or a co-parent, or from work, or for teammates, or from teachers. You know, there are lots and lots of different sources to get all of these things. Do we expect too much from romantic relationships? And if so, what kind of effect would that have on having a romantic relationship? Is there a pressure to be in a relationship? If so, why? What are some of the advantages to getting so much from one romantic relationship, and what are some of the disadvantages to that? So leave it quite open, and young people and practitioners will come up with their own learning outcomes. But but some of them could include, it's important that we don't create a hierarchy of different kinds of relationships where romantic relationships are always seen as being the most important. And it's also important that we work on ourselves to be able to give ourselves these things, and that in itself is a very important relationship, our relationship with ourselves. And also that we don't neglect all the other relationships in our lives and see them as being less important, because actually they can be just as important and just as fulfilling and just as rewarding and just as rich. So I'd also follow this up with a Venn diagram activity, which looks at how much people share in relationships. I might make another video about that at some point, but again, that's in my pack, Love in It, at bishtraining.com. So that's it really. I hope you found this useful. For more details about my training courses and also my teaching and also my teaching resources, go to bistraining.com. Bye.